The three elements that you need in order to create a good ad is a hook to grab people's attention in. People are seeing, thousands and thousands of ads every single day online, and you need something that's going to stand out because the brain is automatically trying to skip over, most of the ads that you see. So the hook draws something in. Then the next part is the content, right? That's the middle piece. That's where you're giving some sort of value to them. And then at the very end, you need some sort of a call to action where directing them to do something, whatever it is that you want them to do. A lot of times too, people are afraid to give their viewer something to do at the very end. Maybe they're afraid to sell or whatever. But if whatever it is that you're offering is good, right, and you know that it will benefit people, it's your moral duty to give them a call to action, because it's kind of like you go outside and see someone that's hungry and you're like, man, I got a whole bunch of food, but you don't tell them where to go to get the food. You're doing them a disservice.
Yeah, because they have to ask and then wait for a response, and by that time they're already off to McDonald's or something.
Right, exactly.
So, are there any common misconceptions about ads that coaches and educators tend to struggle with that you've noticed?
I think the biggest thing, so there's two things that I would say in regard to this. One, all they do is copy what they see someone else in their field doing. So if you see someone that's more popular than you, you're copying them. But what they don't realize is that there's a million reasons why an ad could possibly work. And you can't just copy someone else, because maybe maybe their ad isn't really that good, but they already have an audience. One of the things I always say is it's like an artist, right? Artist comes out with an album, and his first album is great. It sells like 10 million copies. The next album that he puts out, it doesn't matter how good or bad it is, it's still going to sell. It's going to sell at least 5 million records. So you might be watching someone that's in there that already put out a big hit, and then you're copying what they're doing, and maybe their stuff that they're doing now isn't really that good. So you're copying stuff that doesn't necessarily work. And then the second misconception that I think people do when they're creating ads is that they make ads that look like ads. And that's not what I teach. You want to make you want to make ads that's disguised as content. So the stuff that I see that works really, really well is where someone is sharing something that's valuable, some sort of tip that's valuable, and then at the very end, you have some sort of a call to action. But if it looks like an ad, the brain is going to skip over it. It's a thing called reactance, where the brain is always trying to conserve energy. And if it feels like it's an ad, or it feels like it's something that it's seen before, it's gonna keep scrolling. So what you want to do is, when you're making your ads, don't make it look like an ad. Make it look like you're sharing some sort of valuable information, and then at the very end, you turn it into an ad by having that call to action.
And what was that word you used again? That R word?
Reactance.
Reactance. I love that.
That's
I
when the
just learned
brain.
that. I bet a lot of people learned that today too.
Yeah. The brain is always, because the brain is always trying to conserve energy. So when you're scrolling down the timeline, if it sees, when you see something that looks like an ad, or it looks like something that is seen before, the brain is saying, hey, we've already seen this before. No need to waste energy on it. Keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. That's why you need a very powerful hook to get them to stop the scroll. If you look at the people that are building really big followings online, it's because they really target a specific demographic of people. What's happening now is that there's so many places, like if you go on YouTube, I spend a lot of time on YouTube and Instagram, and especially YouTube. There are so many people out there. There's so many people that have channels and whatnot. And what people, I think, are looking for is they're looking for someone that speaks their language, right? That are into the things that they're specifically into. So when you have things that are just really, really, really general, not saying that you can't develop a following, but people aren't going to feel attracted to you, right? But then
Yes.
yeah, but if let's say you like wearing brown sweaters, right? And there's a bunch of other people out there that like brown sweaters, and that's what it is that you talk about. People want somewhere that they could feel home. And that's why you really kind of want to niche down. And that's really why you see a lot of these these influencers online, they'll say like very they'll just say very controversial things, and they may not even be naturally that controversial, but they realize by them saying like very controversial things that they attract in their audience. Now I'm not necessarily for just saying things to upset people and whatnot, but I think that there is something where like, hey, I only wear brown sweaters and forget everybody else. All the brown sweater people come over here, and we're gonna, if people feel very passionately about wearing brown sweaters. So I have created over the last almost year now, created a book for content creators, experts, coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, and business owners, and I teach them how to create contagious. The name of the book is Creating Contagious, Compelling Content. And I teach them how to create content that will draw in the people that are looking for them. Definitely, all you guys check it out. The website is cccbook.com. That's cccbook.com. Creating
simple,
contagious,
super
compelling
easy.
content. Yeah.
Yep. Easy to remember.
Yeah.
cccbook.com.